Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's Tuesday. It's the last week of season 3, and we're gonna talk about this week's trials. As always, I have been doing those trials live on twitch.tv/vanep. You can follow me over there if you want to. These are the scores that I've managed to get so far. I'm gonna be working a little bit more on them as the week progresses. As always, we're going to talk about the trials, how to do them solo and how to do them in the group and how to get the maximum score. And we're going to be going about the different strategies and loadouts that you want to bring. The trials of this week are open arc probes, damage flying arc enemies inside the spaceport walls, open containers inside the traffic tunnels of Blue Gate, damage fireflies, and damage queens or matriarchs. Now, before we go into each trial, I just have one simple thing that I would like to talk about. As always, you will get all the information that I have, all the knowledge that I have, no gatekeeping, no paywalls, no members only, nothing of that nonsense. The only thing that you could help me with in return is if you like and subscribe the video and maybe share it with a friend or your buddies that you're doing trials with. It would help me a lot with the YouTube algorithm, since we are an extremely small channel and we need to get traction. And it would help me a lot with the YouTube algorithm to just simply reach more people. All right, the first trial of this week is open arc probes. Now, there are a couple of things that you want to know about this trial. For this, you want to go to preferably Spaceport on Electromagnetic Storm. The reason being is that the highest score possible, as you can see down here, is 76,000, which you can only achieve on Spaceport. You could theoretically do this trial on Dam, especially because Spaceport EMS is just up once a day and it's at a very odd time. But if you want to go for the highest score possible, you have to do it on Spaceport EMS. Therefore, this is what we're going to talk about. There are a couple of things that you want to know. First of all, the circles that you see are basically group of crashed arc probes. What does that mean? On Spaceport Electromagnetic Storm, the probes spawn crashed on the ground and do leave a smoke trail. You want to go to the probe, breach it, and loot it. If you're going for the maximum score, you don't want to sit there and loot the entire thing. You don't have time for that. You just want to tap into it. Another thing is that you can see the probes in your vicinity once you open up your in-game map. So you just run to the spot, open up the map, and you will see the probe on your map. You can then ping it to even see on which elevation the probe is at. Like, let's say, for example, we are at departure and we're pinging this probe right here. It would show us that the probe is on the roof. So that helps you a little bit with finding the probes if you're new to the trial. One more thing you want to know about Spaceport in particular is that this probe right here, if you're going for absolute the highest score possible, the 76,000, there is a chance that this probe spawns, this one right here. If this probe spawns, you want to reset your trial because it usually spawns under the sand and you cannot loot it. And therefore you can't reach the highest score possible. If you're doing the solo, you don't really care about too much about that one single probe, unless you're called Valiant, then you probably do. Shoutouts, much love. If you're doing this solo, this is how I've done it. Once you spawn into the map, you want to check where your final extract is, and then basically run from one circle to another and check for the probes. Once you reach a certain spot, for example, fuel processing, and you see that there is a probe there, and you see a second probe here, you can assume that there is a third probe, so just keep checking, you will find the third one. They always spawn in batches of 3. For this trial, I would bring a lot of stims, a hole cracker to kill the arc faster, a snap hook, a bunch of adrenaline shots, a couple of zip lines, preferably 9 to 12 probably. The more the better. A couple of wolf packs if you're doing this solo, just so you can get rid of rocketeers and bombardiers and bastions and whatever, so you don't lose unnecessary time. You want to bring a renegade or something to kill either arc or players with, depending on whether you're in friendly lobbies or not. Possibly some smoke grenades that might help with especially this area here where the bastion patrols and stuff. So you can just smoke the probe breach it and loot it. And you can also bring seeker grenades, which are extremely helpful to kill the small arc quite quickly. Your main goal is to loot every single circle, loot all 3 probes in each circle, and move as fast as possible. I prefer to just move in a circle, do the outside first and then the inside, just because there is a chance that other people are doing the trials as well, and they are gonna help you breach the probe so you don't have to. You can just tap in once it's breached. Now, if you're doing this in a team, it's a lot easier because you have a lot more time. I would probably suggest a split, something like that, shown here in this image. One player takes care of the northern part, one takes care of the blue circles, and one takes care of the green circles. The second trial of the week is damage flying arc enemies inside the spaceport walls. We had this trial a couple of weeks ago. Nothing really has changed. You have 2 options. Option A is the hidden bunker event, where the upside is that you have 40 minutes. Option B is the new event that Ember came up with, which I personally don't like too much for this trial, because the assessors spawn outside the walls. The vaporizers with the shields are kind of annoying to deal with and take a lot of time. The highest score you will get on the old way, how we used to do it, with snitch scanners, and pulling like all the normal snitches that spawn on the map, including the Rocketeers and the normal Wasps and Hornets and Fireflies and whatever. So first of all, we need to talk about which area does count. It's pretty obvious since it's said in the description. The spaceport walls, which are basically, I think, something like that. Not sure about this area. You want to kill arc inside this area. You can pull arc from outside and kill it inside. That counts as well. Now, if you're doing this solo, you want to bring as many snitch scanners as you can. I would probably bring 2 Jupiters with 10 stacks of energy ammo, maybe 4 wolf packs and a renegade, and other than that, just stims and a couple of zip lines. You want to bring like probably 6 zip lines. You want to position yourself on top of the South Trench Tower, and then set up a couple of zip lines to the shipping warehouse and the arrival building to just be able to pull from different areas, pull stuff that spawns outside the wall to the inside. Once you spawn in, just throw 6 snitch scanners down, wait till they all popped off, and then wolfpack it. From there, you can then throw 1 snitch scanner every 30 seconds. As I said, position yourself like on a safe space, on a safe place, South Trench Tower, shipping warehouse, or maybe even the launch tower, depending on your lobbies, right? If you are in friendly lobbies and you feel safe, you can position yourself on top of the launch tower, South Trench Tower. South Trench Tower is quite safe, and just keep throwing your snitch scanners and pull everything that you can. If you're doing this in a group, you want to split up. You want 1 guy on South Trench Tower, 1 guy on the top of the control tower, and probably 1 guy either on rocket assembly or maybe the departure or arrival building. One of those. The strategy is the same. Everyone has to bring 10 to 11 stacks of snitch scanners and pull everything in the vicinity. Kill as much arc as possible and try to cycle your Rocketeers as fast and as often as possible, because they do give more points. The third trial is open containers inside the traffic tunnels of Blue Gate. You want to do this trial on the locked gate event, even though it's a little bit more annoying because you have to open up the gate first, but you have way more containers spawning inside the tunnels during the locked gate event, which is why you really want to do it on this map condition. Plus, it's a 2x condition, which means you get double the points, just as like on Night Raids or Electromagnetic Storm. But as I said, you have way more containers on Lock Gate than compared to Night or EMS. There are a couple of things, though, that we first need to talk about with this trial. So first of all, where do you get the keys from and where do you put the keys in? These are the spawn locations of the printers. You have one on the Pilgrim's Peak. It's inside the tower that you can zipline up to, sitting on a table. You have one in the corner of the reinforced reception, sitting on the table as well. You have one key spawning in the attic, the roof of the Raiders' Refuge, and you have one printer spawning in the ancient fort right next to this small little computer. Your first goal is to open the locked gate as fast as possible. You want to aim for like at least the 32-minute mark. If the gate is not open by the 32-minute mark, I would reset. You want to bring the keys to this small blue building, which means you have to run every key from the printer to the building. Now, as the time goes on, people have figured it out that you want to open the gate as fast as possible. And usually what everyone is doing, you pick the position closest to you after you spawn, rush to the key, and after that, go to the reception and put the key in. If you're lucky, every player has done this and you open the gate pretty quickly, like around the 35-minute mark or something, or even like earlier. Okay, now that we know where to get the keys, let's talk about... This is the general area of the tunnel. You have cars and containers outside the tunnel that count towards the trial. Nothing up here counts towards the trial. You don't even need to go up there. The first thing you want to do is loot the maintenance wing, breach every car, loot every container. You got to learn the suitcases. You got to learn the grenade cases where they spawn. You want to loot every single small container that you can. I'm not sure if this is still viable, but these used to give points, this used to not give points. If you want to be sure, just loot every single one of them. The small security buildings have antennas on top that you can loot as well. Make sure to vault on top of them and see if you can loot them. You want to bring patrol car keys if you have some, because inside the patrol cars there are usually a weapons case or something that you can loot as well. Don't stress too much about the patrol car keys though. It's usually just one lootable container inside. The most important thing that you will need to finish the trial with the highest score possible is the Blue Gate Confiscation Room key. The Blue Gate Confiscation Room key opens up this specific room inside the security wing. Don't forget about the room because there are a lot of containers inside. And also don't forget about the room that you can open up upstairs where you have to put the batteries in to open up the door. I usually, when I do it solo, I usually do the maintenance wing first, just to give people time to open up the room maybe, or some patrol cars, or deal with the bastion, so that I don't have to. I usually would bring a lot of stims and a snap hook, preferably a hole cracker with probably just 2 stacks of ammo, just to get rid of shredders and comets and stuff like that, and maybe a deadline just in case no one takes care of the bastion in the middle here, so that I can take care of it myself. Ideally, you want one of those 3 extractions to be your last one. This one is pretty bad because you have to travel quite far. If you're doing this in a group, make just sure to split up and get the keys as fast as possible, so you have enough time to loot the entire thing. Once the gate is opened, you can split up the entire tunnel system, something like that. One does the security wing, one does the wing in the middle, and one does the maintenance wing. The third trial of this week is a new trial, and it's Damaged Fireflies. Now, since this is a new trial, by the time of recording of this video, we're not quite sure what the best strategy is. There are 2 possible routes to go with this, but I have heard different results on each route. You have one, the hidden bunker, but I have heard a wide range of points on hidden bunker, and I've tested it myself. From 10,000 to, I think the max is 67 right now. But the same is true for the second op, which would be the locked gate event. I think for this trial, it depends whether you play it solo or in a group. As a solo, I think your best bet would be to do this on Blue Gate on the locked gate event, because you can set yourself up on top of the maintenance bunker with 2 Jupiters and 5 stacks of energy ammo, maybe an Osprey, and I'd say like probably 3 to 4 stacks of zip lines, and just snipe every single Firefly that you see. You can then set up a couple of zip lines to the ridge line to just get a little bit of a different view. Make sure to kill Hornets and Wasps as well, just so you can cycle through them faster and make the Fireflies spawn faster. If you're doing this in a group, I would suggest the usual 3-way split on Spaceport, on the hidden bunker event, one on top of the South Trench Tower, one on top of A6, and seeing those spawns, I'd say probably one on top of Rocket Assembly. It's basically the same strategy. Get Jupiters to pull the Fireflies and cycle through Wasps and Hornets as well, just so your Fireflies spawn faster. Make sure to activate the antennas, because activating the antennas feels like it makes more arcs spawn on the map. The last trial of this week we haven't had in quite a while, and it's Damage Queens or Matriarchs. This is quite a straightforward trial. The highest score for this trial is 16,169 points. You can choose whether you want to do the Queen or the Matriarch. And probably the Matriarch's gonna be less contested because everyone's going to do this on the Queen. And there is a reason for that. The Queen is easier to kill than the Matriarch just because it doesn't spawn pesky ads like the Bastion or the Leaper, first of all. But second of all, and in my opinion the more important thing is, the Queen does not have a shield that blocks your Wolfpack. The strategy for this trial is pretty straightforward. You want to spawn in, get to the Queen as fast as possible, and throw Wolfpacks. Now, how many Wolfpacks you throw depends on whether you play this solo or in a group. I think you need a total of 32 Wolfpacks to kill the Queen if every small rocket of the Wolfpack hits the Queen itself. This is a little bit trickier because there's usually a Rocketeer and there's usually like a Hornet or a Wasp or something flying around, but the Queen itself takes 32 Wolfpacks. Now, you can do it solo with 32 Wolfpacks, or you can do it in a group with 32 Wolfpacks in total. I'm gonna talk you through the strategy on each map where I think is the safest place to do it, so you can do it on every map, regardless whether you're doing this solo or in a group. And we're gonna start with my favorite map. Also, one more thing, you can bring hatch keys. Especially when you're doing this in a group, you want to bring a hatch key to get out as fast as possible and as safe as possible, right? We're going to start with Dam, and Dam is my most favorite map to do this on because you have really good spawns and you have a good hatch where you can extract. This is where the Queen spawns, and sometimes you can spawn around Testing Annex. Sometimes you can spawn on this island, maybe behind the Testing Annex or on top of this hill. You can even spawn at the radar outpost right here. And this is where I've spawned when I've done it solo. I've only reached 12,000 points because I've ran out of Wolfpacks. I didn't bring enough Wolfpacks, so that's on me. If you're doing this on Dam, there is a small bunker down here where you can hide, where you're pretty safe from. Or like even on top of this hill, there are a couple of rocks where you can hide behind and just throw your Wolfpack. Once the Queen is dead, you have the pump house head right next to you, so you can just extract. If you spawn on this side of the map, you have the spillway hatch. So regardless on which side you're doing this on, you always have a hatch nearby and you can escape as fast as possible. Me personally, I've done it in this small little bunker right here, because you can sit inside the bunker and throw the Wolfpacks outside and they still hit the Queen. On Spaceport, the Queen spawns down here between the maintenance hangar and the staff parking. You don't have a hatch nearby, so you need to run to either the hatch or one of the extracts, but you have those small garage buildings that are pretty safe, and you have the maintenance hangar itself where you can hide as well. It's basically the same. Hide in the building from the laser, yeet your Wolfpacks. And the third map is Bluegate. On Bluegate, the Queen spawns between those hills. It's basically the same. You don't want to stand up on top of the hill just because you don't have much cover from the laser, and you're quite vulnerable to other players. But Bluegate is a quite contested map because of the cover you have around the gas station. If you want to see how we did it in trios last season, I will link a video up right here. I've done it solo this season, as I said, and managed to get 12,000 points. I might rerun it just to get the other 4,000 points. Maybe I'll upload the video as well. Let me know down in the comments below if you're interested in that, even though it's not the maximum score. Now, before people in the comment start yelling at me, I am aware that you can kill the Queen way cheaper with 6 to 8 deadlines. But matter of fact is, you have to climb up on top of the Queen, place the deadline on the core, jump down, wait till it explodes, go back up, place the next deadline on the core. It takes way more time, and therefore you give other players way more time to steal damage off of you. 1, and 2, you get really close and personal to the Queen and risk to be stepped on by mommy, which with Wolfpacks you can just sit back, relax, and yeet your Wolfpacks from pretty safe distance. Alright, these are the trials. I wish you best of luck. I hope every one of you reaches their goal. Mine will be Cantina Legend, even though there is no reward for it. We are currently in Hotshot. You only get the skin in Hotshot. I don't think there's any specific hidden Cantina reward or something. I'm just doing this because I want to. Other than that, as I said, it would help me a lot. Leave a like and a subscribe, maybe comment and share the video. Thank you very much. Good luck in your trials, and I'll see you in the next season.